Hey everybody, I hope everyone's doing well out in crypto land. I'm Larry. This is Crypto Talk Now, and we're here and excited to talk to you about a few different tokens and also anything that our viewers want to talk about. I have Max here with me again. This is our fourth live stream in a row. Max, how are you doing tonight?
Doing very well. Thank you for asking, Larry. How about yourself? How's things going with you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm enjoying everything going on. I'm glad that the weather's getting warmer here, and looks like a pretty good day here for some of these tokens and coins in the crypto world. I know that we've got a good show planned. We've got a few cool things to talk about. Where would you like to start first here? Let me just see if I can get my screen shared with you. Let me just come over here and push this button. So right now I've got crypto bubbles up. It looks like ApeCoin is the leader right now. It looks like ApeCoin has just been on fire today. I know that's one of the things we're going to talk about second, but you have something else that you want to talk about first, right?
Yeah, actually, while we're going to talk about ApeCoin and whatnot, what should I call it? It's nice to see another one on that crypto bubbles. What is that? Kava. I know
Yes.
that's my buddy Foxman. He's I guess you could say well invested into Kava. He's always telling me we got to check that out. So at some point I gotta check that out and look into it more. I did see that they had some kind of Cosmos slash I believe Ethereum. It's like bringing both of them. I guess you could say together, not necessarily like a bridge. Again, I got to look into it a little bit more, but um,
Yeah.
he was saying it's really cool with the staking with Kraken. So
I've heard some
uh,
good things about Kava, but I haven't taken the time to look into it either. And at some point, that's probably something that I'll probably look to research and more than likely get into because I heard it was a good project for sure.
yeah, absolutely. So let's see some of these other bowls that just kind of pop up to catch your eye. Okay. Cake from Pancake Swap, that's up 9.2%. Um, Interesting. I know another one that he's into is, Foxman is Algo. Um,
Yep.
okay. It's
I
just
have a
kind of,
little bit of that. Yeah.
yeah, Crypto Bubbles is great because it's just, instead of going through the huge list um, on CoinMarketCap, right, and sorting through it that way, which
I mean,
I
yeah, I
still
mean,
do
you could,
that. But
it's
yeah,
really cool. You can tell within a couple of seconds, what is looking good today in the top 100, or you can switch to top 200, 300, however you want to do it. So,
right. Makes it super simple. So, let's
yeah.
take a look. Like we mentioned, guys, first of all, for all those who just joined the live stream, um, thank you for joining us tonight. And with that said, we're taking a look first at Singularity. Now, Singularity is a really interesting, cool project. I mean, if you're really into, like, for instance, like robotics or just AI technology in general, um, Singularity is a tokenized version of that. And again, back on my channel, I covered it a few times. One in particular, I highly recommend if you haven't seen it. I have footage with, was it Charlie Shrem? He talks a lot about it. But later on this year, and especially into early 2023, you're going to hear this term thrown around a lot. So, for instance, last year, you heard the term of NFTs thrown around a lot. Towards
Right.
the end of this year, you're going to hear more of MATs thrown around a lot, which means mass adoption token. And what I mean
Okay.
by that basically is you're going to have these projects, right? Whether it's like Singularity with the robotics, the AI technology, and so on. It's basically tokenizing um, artists, you know, various people, um, the projects they do, and Singularity definitely pops out on that. Now, if you're wondering a little bit more about Singularity, this is actually part of Cardano's. It's a smart contract under Cardano.
Okay.
And as far as if you're interested in the price action and so on, we'll get to that. But the price action, of course, as of lately, has definitely shown significant gains. Yeah, there's some pullbacks, but it seems to be one that's starting to really take off now. Now that there's a little bit more adoption. So going through on the actual site, um, let's see here if we just blow that up a little bit more. I'm gonna blow up my screen. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So Larry is going to actually go down just a tad. So, for instance, you see where it says decentralized AI for the emerging global brain. It says the combination of AI with blockchain shifts innovation from traditional silos of power to an exponentially more powerful system of distributed creativity and governance. Singularity Net is creating the frameworks and technologies for this shift. Um, and if you just go down a little bit more, I'll just take a moment to share with you guys about their vision. So it says SNet, Singularity Net, is single-mindedly building the diversity of bridges to AGI that will be the infrastructure of the decentralized, democratically distributed systems of abundance controlled by no one and enjoyed by everyone. So if Larry, if you could go up just a little bit on the page, back up to where you were, we're going to show you guys just a little brief video. Before actually, you might be able to play the whole video, Larry, if it's not connected with YouTube. If it's hosted from their site, you can play the whole thing.
Okay.
So let's just try to verify that real quick.
All right. Let's just give it a click and see where it comes up.
Okay. So it does come from a little bit. So,
I could probably just mute. I could probably just mute it and play the whole thing.
Yeah, you could probably do that. So.
All right.
This is just very impressive if you guys haven't seen this yet. It kind of shows a little bit what they do over there. You guys might have seen this on some, tech shows on cable
okay,
TV.
Yeah, this is like AI and robotics and everything. Okay.
Yeah. Of course, he's going to talk a little bit about what they're doing there. I mean, I wish we could hear some of that, but it's okay. But you get the gist of some of the things that they're trying to accomplish. What he has to say, this guy right here, that guy looks like he's from the movie Independence Day, where the guy that worked in the Area 51 lab or whatever.
Yeah, he does.
But it's just, it's very well worth checking out. It's not just like, oh, hey, these guys are creating, robots and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen, not to interrupt you, I've seen this Sophia robot, this AI robot. I've seen Singularity. I didn't know that they were tokenized or in the crypto world. Maybe that's more recent, but I've seen this robot speaking before. And maybe I think it might be a citizen of Saudi Arabia or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the cool thing with it, if you look more into the project, I mean, they are literally the leading cutting edge robotics lab, if you will, or creators behind it. And then with that said, they have tokenized this on top of it.
Right.
And you know what? It was kind of sitting dormant for a while. I mean, there was not, again, the adoption of it. Again, everything needs a little bit more word of mouth. But at the end of the day, it's starting to kind of have like build up with that adoption, if you will. More people are investing into it. You could definitely see that in the charts with the volume and so on. So actually, before we leave this page, I mean, you guys are, of course, more than welcome to check out the ecosystem, read their white paper. Again, it's all part of doing your own research if this happens to be something you might be interested in. But we're going to take a look at the CNC listing for it just real quick. If Larry could pull that up. And, like right now it's sitting at roughly like a little over 11 cents and so on. But I mean, I remember for the longest time, I'm going to actually say probably about like 2 months ago, this was like sitting around like, about 3, 4 cents, 5 cents. So it's kind of just gradually gone up. Kind of like ApeCoin, it's just kind of, holding its own. And then you see these big spikes. Of course, totally different prices.
Right.
But nonetheless, I mean, like for instance, you see that it is currently ranked 344th. Again, it's not up to that top 100 or anything like that. But I mean, the volume has gone up about, what does that say, about 58%? A little over 5 million in volume.
Yeah, it's got over 5 million in volume today, so that's good.
Right. So, and then on top of that, the market cap, that is a verified market cap. That's not where it's got that little caution symbol. It's got a verified market cap of 113 million. And again, the newest thing is they're trying to do that bridge to Cardano's blockchain from, the original contract of Ethereum. But at the end of the day, it is one of those projects out of the many, I think roughly 200, that is part of Cardano's smart contracts, which says a lot for Cardano in itself. And of course, if you scroll down, you will see what's his name, Charles Hoskinson. You know, the big wig from CEO of Cardano, former co-founder of Ethereum. He actually addresses a lot of what's going on with Singularity. And if you're interested in that, I think you go to the bottom of the page. You can actually take a look at that. Should be at the very bottom of the page.
Okay.
No? There it is. So there it says Cardano founder on side effects of Singularity Net's AGIX ERC20 converter bridge. That title might sound like it's bad news. It's actually not. If you're interested on how that converter bridge is going to work and where Cardano is actually going to be tied in, because sometimes we look at these contracts and we're like, what are you talking about? You know, Cardano smart contract and so on. You can read this and it kind of gives you the gist of how that's going to be, set up and so on.
Is this the one that you're currently in right now, Max? I might have missed it, or are you researching it, Singularity?
It's one of those things I've kind of been on the fence on, but I'm going to probably, take a dive into it because it's just something I believe in. And by all means, all you guys, when you get a chance, take a look from beginning to end of that actual brief, I guess you could say trailer / intro video that we just showed kind of just a little bit. That's a very well put together video. And then, of course, if you're still interested, by all means, read some of that white paper. They have a very detailed, layout of how they go about things with Singularity. It's just they're doing awesome stuff over there. It's just
it sounds like they already had a company and a project, and then they decided to tokenize things with crypto. So that's actually a good thing because they look like they were off to a good start and already had a level of success before they started to tokenize things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then you want to take a look at their Twitter here?
Yeah, let's take a moment to look at that real quick.
All right. Okay, so they're talking about their ERC converter bridge is live, and that can be found here. And let's see what else I got. So, a little bit of activity. They got a lot of followers, 76,000 followers.
Yeah, they do. It's more than a good amount of followers in regards to what they got going on. And it's just it's consistently active, and it's just it's not just like, hey, they're building like this really cool, these really cool AI robots or anything. They actually have some use case in which like how this is going to help with real life, I guess you could say, solutions to certain certain matters, or I think one of the things I also saw was something to do with like medical stuff like that and whatnot. So
Cool.
yeah, it is really, really cool. So
it looks like they're trying to bridge over to not just Ethereum and everything, but also BNB, and so that's good. They're talking about their DAO here. Yeah, this is something I'll take a look at too. There's just so much. It's crazy how many different projects there are, and a lot of them seem good. It's just that there's almost not enough time in the day to research them all, but you have to kind of, almost get lucky and just make sure you're researching the right ones. I mean, there's different levels of research, right? You research the ones that haven't launched yet from a pre-sale standpoint, and then you can research ones like this that are already established projects. So, yeah, so it's hard to keep up with all this stuff, but it's good stuff. It's interesting, and not everybody knows about all this, and that's why we're trying to expose, with your help, Max, a lot of different crypto projects, both established and new ones, so that more people have options that they want to research on their own.
Right, and it's not a matter of me or Larry trying to take a dart and throwing it at a board. I mean, it may sometimes look like that's what we're doing, but at the same time, it's maybe a little bit of that, but it's like, okay, well, if we did do that, let's try to see if these are, good projects. And, Singularity, it's just super cool. I mean, you could talk to somebody who's not into crypto at all, right?
Right.
And you could basically mention, or just show, not even mention, just show them like that brief video. If that doesn't like, you know, get somebody like catches their attention,
Right.
then I don't know what's gonna catch their attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just super cool what they're doing, and then for that to be tokenized, and that's what I'm basically talking about. Like these projects, you know, this is an MAT at the end of the day, like, you know, mass adoption token, where you're tokenizing a certain thing. In their case, for instance, you know, the robotics and the artificial technology, the AI behind it. So, but yeah, we can move along. I just thought, you know, I share Singularity with you guys. If you're interested in getting this, there's a few exchanges. Actually, before we get into ApeCoin, let's go back to that CNC listing, just in case anybody wants to, you know, like, where can I get this, for instance?
Here's the markets right here. So it looks like Binance, KuCoin. Of course, you can get it on Uniswap, KuCoin, Pionex. Haven't heard of that one. Coin DCX, Dove Wallet, and LA Token. So
you know,
these are the different.
You might be able to get it off of crypto.com. I don't know. What's the ticker symbol? AGIX. I'm gonna check that real quick.
Yeah,
I could have sworn I saw it on there.
On crypto.com. Yeah, maybe they didn't update this list yet, because sometimes CoinMarketCap is a little behind with their updates.
Yeah, it could be. Actually, I'm just checking that real quick. But yeah, I could have sworn it. I saw it on here.
While Max is looking that up, guys, by the way, welcome to everyone that has just joined the stream. We are just finishing up talking about Singularity, NET, and we're going to talk about some different crypto projects. We're going to talk about how ApeCoin's been going crazy. I got in ApeCoin at like $13. I've been kind of going back and forth with it. Sold off some of it at 19, and maybe I should have held on to it a little longer, but hindsight's always 2020. So, you know, at least I made a profit so far, but I'll look for it to pull back and get back in. But we're going to talk about that. Did you find it?
I do see. Yeah, it's listed to track, but not for trading. So that makes sense. This is accurate what you see here on CMC.
Well, KuCoin's a pretty big exchange, so that's good.
Oh yeah, I use KuCoin like almost. I check it almost every day. I would say maybe close to half of my portfolio is on KuCoin.
You know, I wanted to ask you last night, and I forgot to ask you, talking about exchanges. KuCoin, I mean, I'm familiar with it, but I don't have an account. I'll probably open up one and talk to you more about it offline. But one of the things I wanted to ask you is, you know, I'm not crazy about MetaMask from a security standpoint. I know you mentioned that. Have you heard of like, I think it's called SafePal wallet or Safe Wallet maybe? Or what wallet do you use for decentralized trading?
So that's a good question. So I have a basic rule of thumb when it comes to that. So currently, although I'm thinking about switching, but currently speaking, Coinbase wallet is my go-to wallet for, you know, like projects like Shibnobi, Saitama, Shiba Doge, right? Like, you know, the ERC20 tokens, if you will.
Right.
That is my main wallet for that. If it's a Binance Smart Chain wallet, a Binance Smart Chain project, then my other wallet will be a Trust wallet, and then I just keep everything on there.
I use Trust Wallet too. Yeah, I found that the only limitation with Trust Wallet, I know there's a way around it, but I didn't really trust the site that I was connected to one time when I wanted to bring it on the computer. And that is, it seems like Trust Wallet has just been designed to be a mobile wallet and not a PC version. Have you found a way to look at it on your PC, Trust Wallet, or is it just through your phone?
I haven't tried to find out if there's a way to do that. I haven't tried that yet. The only ones I've done where, you know, it's both on my PC and then also on my phone is, you know, Coinbase, Bitmart. I think I've done MetaMask and so on. So
one of these days we'll maybe talk to everybody about the different wallets, and that so some of the new people can get comfortable, because I know it's sometimes difficult to set up your wallet, maybe a little intimidating for some people. So we can kind of have a few minutes discussion on that. But ApeCoin, so ApeCoin has been going ape. It's been doing well. It had a crazy launch. Things were going well. It came out of nowhere. And as you know, it got on just about all the major exchanges within a few days. It seemed like the day they launched, they were already on some major exchanges. So it's been going well. So I guess we could talk about ApeCoin. Thoughts on ApeCoin?
Yeah, ApeCoin's absolutely been killing it, and I thought this is probably the time to go ahead and cover it, because I mean there's just it's tremendous. I mean, if you look at where they're at right now, if you can actually bring up their CMC listing real quick, Larry.
Sure.
But
Hold on, let
yeah,
me just share my screen right here so you can see it. Yep, there we go.
and again, welcome to those who joined our live stream. We appreciate you taking the time to join Larry and I tonight on Crypto Talk Now.
So we've got ApeCoin up on Coin Market Cap, and on in the last 24 hours, it's up crazy, 23%.
Yeah, and
that's
it's really.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just gonna say it's really significant because I mean, if you look at the price, I mean, 2402. I mean, what was it like? Sometime last week, it was like 16. That's a huge increase. So all those who were thinking, man, it's not going to go up that much. If it does, it's only going to be like a few cents. You literally seen this. I don't know what is that? Not quite half again, but I mean, still that's if you could go for 16 to 24 in a week with anything, right?
Yeah,
you're going to do it all day. And that's what is really significant in regards to this. And then, like what Larry was saying, when they first were released, you saw the ranking go from, like I think it was like 200 with it, up to the top 50, and then like look at where they're at right now, ranked 22 overall, over what 19? Yeah, over 19,000 crypto projects.
yep.
But rightfully so. You got to keep in mind these guys are from the Bored Ape Yachts Club.
Right.
Anything they do is just going to be instant fire. Like just,
oh yeah,
it's going to trend. It's going to be worth quite a bit.
There's a lot of money. Yeah, not to interrupt. There's a lot of money behind that project. So these guys definitely know what they're doing. They probably posted all these listing fees for these major exchanges with no problem. They had looks like a good plan before they launched to get on these exchanges. So they definitely, I don't remember a launch like that where I've ever seen anybody get on these major exchanges right away. And right now we're sitting at a $6.8 million market cap. Like I said, I'll look to buy back in. I got in around 13, which I thought maybe was a little too high. I wanted to get in at 10, and then sold off at 19. But
oh wow, nice.
Can't complain. Yeah, I can't complain about that. I mean, $6 a coin, right? So
that's not too shabby at all, Larry. So hats off to you on that one.
Yeah.
But it's just little things like this, like they kind of live up to their name, right? So it's like Bored Ape Yachts Club. We're getting bored. We don't know what to do. Oh, let's make a coin. Everyone's like, are you serious? You guys are going to actually do this? And then they're like, yeah, why not? And then I don't think anybody really took it serious at first. It was more like, is this really happening? And it was just like one exchange after the other. I mean, are you kidding me? Some of these new ERC20 tokens would absolutely kill to be in that type of position.
Oh,
not just decentralized exchanges, right? But to have actual centralized exchanges, just boom, 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 one after another. And why is that? It's because of the volume that they're doing, the significant ranking that they climbed, right? From going from like, I don't know, let's say rank 200 to like top 50. Heck, they're at 22 right now. But it's not just that. It's the consistent daily volume. For instance, like I covered Zill with the Metropolis project and how, Zill had was a top 5 for that the week going up to the Miami event, in which Zill was like a little over 5 billion in volume, and that was really significant because it's like, wow, your project, as in Zilliqa, is up here with the big boys, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on. That was super impressive. But look at Ape. Ape shows 100% or 180% increase in volume, 4.5 billion, and it's not like, oh, this is just we're just doing this for last few days and so on. They consistently do this, so I wouldn't be surprised if they go up even more. And then if you're currently invested into it, my goodness, again, not financial advice, but it's just like, I'll put it this way, all right, I'll give you the floor here in a second, Larry, but my attitude is this: I have way too many long-term plays, and there's nothing against that, right? We want to have some long-term plays because we want to see the long-term vision in a lot of these projects. But I like what I see with ApeCoin, and the reason why I like seeing that is because this is actually something in which, if you wanted to do, I guess you could say like day trading, you could see significant dividends in regards to that.
Yep. This is ApeCoin has just been crushing it. And when I saw it pop up on Crypto Bubbles that one day, I was like, it was a big bubble. And I'm like, it was like either the day they launched or the next day. And I'm like, what is this? How in the world did they get in the top 100 that fast? And then I started looking at them closer and I'm like, wow, not only did they get off to a fast start, they also got onto these big exchanges immediately. And it's going to be kind of funny talking to people that are not into crypto, you know, like walking out in the real world, talking to friends that might be invested in stocks and traditional things like mutual funds. And then people saying, you know, what should I invest in? You know, can't really tell them that, right? But take a look at these crypto projects and they start looking at it and they're like, wow, you know, like I've heard of Bitcoin and some people might have heard of Ethereum, you know, BNB, a lot of people heard of Shiba Inu. And then they're like, ApeCoin. So, I mean, ApeCoin has a chance, you know, one of these days soon, we might be looking at it, you know, instead of number 22, it might be in the top 10. And that would be kind of funny because, you know, it's the first one that came out that just was more very established as an NFT and then shifted the other way, where it's usually they start as a token and then get into the NFT. So they did it in reverse, but they also have a lot of utility. And I think that a lot of people, I don't know if there's a formal term for it. Like I kind of call it a smart NFT because one time I made a post on Twitter and I said, hey, where do you think the future of NFTs are? And someone said, you know, they're going to have more and more utility. They're going to be kind of like, you know, you had the phone, you have like a cell phone, right? And everybody remembers the flip phone. And then the flip phone turned into eventually what? The smartphone. So they're saying the same thing. This person I was kind of chatting with on Twitter, it's going to happen with NFTs. They have the basic NFT, which is more like artwork. And then eventually, you know, more and more utility where you can stake them. You can earn passive income, kind of like WAGMI games where, you know, you'll obviously use them to play games, but you'll also be able to rent them out and earn an income and share in the company's revenue. So they're going to turn into, I guess, I don't know if it's a formal term, like I said, but more like smart NFTs.
You know what? That's a good analogy. I actually like that term, smart NFTs, because I mean, you know, for the people who say, how is this going to be, you know, how are these NFTs going to have utility? It's like the answer is, it currently is. You know, again, like I keep mentioning this. I mean, like for instance, what's happening with Shiba Inu, you literally, you know, you have to have a certain amount of leash, and then you know to buy what the NFTs, right? And then you have to have a certain amount of NFTs to do things in regards to these land sales and so on. You know, the conversion of it and so on. So yeah, that in itself is the utility because it's creating a use case for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, hello, Kingsman.
Hey, Kingsman, how's it going today? Oh, he's talking about his project that he's invested in again. We talked about last night. I think Angora project will be huge for sure. Super low market cap and super early and great utilities lined up. Yeah, I looked at it a little bit before we got on the stream. It's just been kind of like the same as yesterday. So yeah, it's a good point, Kingsman. Thank you for coming here. You know, these projects, like I was saying in the beginning, there's just so many of them. And if they have a good community behind them, they'll start to take off. But it takes not just a community, it takes YouTubers and people on Twitter, different influencers starting to talk about it. And we might have to like get into the Telegram and learn more about that, Kingsman, because I haven't taken the time to do that. I looked at the chart real quick and didn't see much going on with Angora, but something that we'll definitely look at offline. So,
But another thing I was going to mention, I mean, you know, for those who may want to get into ApeCoin and so on, again, it's another story. Of course, you know, you got to do your own research and so on. On this particular project, you know, I didn't think it was really necessary to pull up the whole token sniffer thing. I mean, it was like, from what I saw, it was like roughly like 65 out of 100 or something like that. That's not the point. I mean, the way I look at it, it's already been well vetted anyway. It's already on some big centralized exchanges, crypto.com, so on and so forth.
I was going to say, you know, instead of worrying about token sniffer, in this case, we like to always look at token sniffer, but I think if it's good enough for crypto.com, it's good enough for me. You know, like
exactly. Yeah. And knowing that, I mean, two, you know, if you could go back actually for a second.
Sure.
Two mainstream, you know, audits, right? Obviously, Certic is like a household name by now when it comes to crypto audits. That other one I never heard of. Not really familiar with it. And at the same time, it's nice to see that they want to be transparent and have, two different audits, because sometimes CERDIC might be covering, like this was flagged on such and such, like a minor thing, and then the other group comes on board, and then they might catch something in which might be a little bit different, right? Just getting a different perspective. You want to see projects, whether it's ApeCoin and so on, do things like that. So yeah, that's why I didn't want to, make a big deal about the whole, of course, token sniffer thing. Again, crypto.com, right?
Yeah.
They're on it. That's good enough for me.
I would like to see more projects follow in the footsteps of this one, of ApeCoin. I think that they don't necessarily have to start as NFT, but some of the NFT projects that are good ones could look at this and say, okay, this is how we can go about, developing a token and go from there. Or somebody that's new that wants to create a token can say, okay, let's go about it this way. Let's make the token, but let's not only make the token, let's make some NFTs that are smart NFTs that are useful, that are going to provide income for people. And,
Right.
we can airdrop them or whatever. But I just think that it kind of puts a new tilt on NFTs. They're beyond just artwork, and they can actually be used to, give you some residual income. So, I'm sure there's other projects out there in the works that are looking to do this, but hats off to ApeCoin for having a strong plan. And the big thing is not only that with the NFTs, but just being able to have a plan to get on these centralized exchanges, because that's really where it's at. Now, I wish that Saitama, would get on some of these centralized exchanges, the bigger ones. And I think
Right.
that's it's huge, because it gives more access to investors when you get on these bigger exchanges. Some people, like, people that are newer to crypto, or people that may not be new to it, are only really comfortable buying on a centralized exchange. They only want to go on Coinbase or crypto.com
Right.
because they're familiar with it. They're more comfortable with it. So
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up. Just to take a moment, Kingsman was mentioned in the chat. He says, what do you guys think about Phantom Project? He bought 2 ETH at pre-sale. Hope it will pump. It's funny you mentioned that.
yeah,
Larry and possibly me. It just depends. I might be there, I might not. Is going to be doing an AMA with Phantom, which is super cool. So that should tell you, what Larry, thinks of Phantom. He's always covering Phantom and so on. I personally, do need to look a little bit more into Phantom, especially before if I get join him before the AMA. And then the other point Kingsman makes, he's back to Ape. He says he had 9. I'm sorry, you bought Ape at 9 and you sold at 13. Well, you know what? That's still not too shabby.
it's still $4. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
I think a lot of people were in that boat. I think some people might have got wrecked a little bit on the launch, because it kind of went crazy. If we go back and look at what happened, it started out, around $7 and some odd cents, 7.31, 7.41, and then it just went way up. Like it went all the way up to $16, right? And I'm sure some people, might have bought in then. And then they might have gotten wrecked, because then it kind of came crashing down from the $16, a couple of days later down to 9. And then I was watching this thing go nuts, because I didn't even know that they were talking about coming out with a token. And then I saw it around 10, and I was like, oh man, I just want to wait. And then I probably got in, probably right in here, 13 something, maybe, yeah, probably here, the low 13s, probably like on the 23rd, right in there. That's because I do remember buying it at 13, and then just, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I sold off at 19. But sometimes you just don't know how far a project's going to go. And I don't know where this thing is going to go, but I think it's here to stay in the top 100 from what I'm seeing. And that's based off of already having a strong reputation in the NFT marketplace.
Right. Absolutely. I saw this thing a while back on Reddit. These people were saying, I'm gonna wait for the next, like the most epic crash ever, when this thing, tanks to $5, and then I'm gonna buy, like 5,000 ape coins, and I'm just like, rooting for the bear market or the extreme crash. I get it. People are gonna do it, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to see any more of it, especially with us currently being invested in so many different projects. That's where I'm going with it. So.
Yeah, right now I've been dollar cost averaging into Crow. Like Crow is my big one that I feel like is undervalued. And but yeah, this is something ApeCoin, I'll just wait for it to pull back. But I think a lot of us are just waiting for that bull run, because some of our, like with the meme tokens and community-based tokens, a lot of us are down from where we bought in. Like I had some good early positions with some, but it would be nice to see a bull run and see this time with the bull run if these meme-based tokens will also, get carried along with it. We'll have to wait and see.
No, you're absolutely right. In regards to that, so guys, we're not going to put a lot of focus on reading everything from the ApeCoin site and so on. Like about at the end of the day, again, the quick gist of it is this is from the Bored Ape Yachts Club. They created their own coin, aka ApeCoin. You can read more about it, like the foundation and so on. Again, it's all part of doing your own research. At the end of the day, you definitely want to do that anyway. You don't necessarily want to listen to Larry or myself just because when you be like, hey, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, or in the case of the Bored Ape Yachts Club, sliced bananas or whatever. But
yeah, well, it might be the greatest NFT. Let me ask you this: don't you think it's interesting what I noticed when I looked at this, back in March, their website? Doesn't the font jump off at you? Like, isn't this more like a old school computer type of font, or where do you see this font? Does that jump out to you the way they have it?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know if that was like really done on purpose. Well, I guess it obviously was done on purpose by whoever made it. I don't know. I mean, is there a secret message behind that?
I don't know. It looks a little bit like a retro style. I guess that's the word I'm looking for, like a retro style typing, like something that you would type from like a Apple computer in the late 80s or early 90s, something like that. There's just this font just seems different to me, like it comes off the page. I mean, not something that is like a modern type of font. I just thought maybe that was kind of an interesting side note.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's hard to say. Larry, just give yourself a second, because your connection's actually it's pretty choppy right now. I don't know if I lost you or what.
Lost our visual. Okay, there we are. We had a little bit of a connection issue.
Okay,
can you hear me?
Back. Yeah, we're back with Larry, guys. He's back.
I almost rugged my connection.
Yeah, let's rug your connection. So we had a few more people who joined the live stream. I just want to go ahead and welcome everybody who's joining us tonight, and especially those who might have joined us on the previous nights. We thought we'd try a new time slot for tonight, which is 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. So Thank you very much for joining us in regards to that.
Yeah, we're excited to try our new time slot. I think we can reach a little bit more of an audience, and it's a little bit easier on my schedule. Me being on the East Coast and Max is on the West Coast. So we're looking at also, we should probably tell our viewers, make sure you guys tune in on the weekends. We're trying to experiment with different times. So on the weekends, on Saturday and Sunday, we're looking forward to doing our live stream at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to see how that time slot goes. So it's going to be Monday through Friday right now until we see otherwise. We're going to do it at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, see how it goes. And then Saturdays and Sundays, we're going to run it at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So moving a little bit further, you want to, is there anything you want to, maybe talk about a little bit, Larry, before I start, getting to some of these other ones?
Not right now. I'm waiting to see if we might have a special guest join us later and talk about PIXUL. You know what I can do real quick? Let me give a quick commercial for, and I don't see it up here now. Let me just talk to you really fast about Phantom. So for some reason, I'm not seeing that up here. Let me just pull up their Twitter, because there's an announcement I wanted to share with everybody on Phantom. I know a lot of people have questions about Phantom, and like I said, tomorrow there's a 90% chance we're going to have an AMA here on this channel, and it's going to be 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will, in advance, put that out there on Twitter to remind everyone about the AMA. But I just wanted to share this information. It's on the Phantom Project official Twitter page. And if you're looking to get into Phantom, not financial advice, The pre-sale has already ended, but they are going to launch Saturday, April 30th between 1 and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I did get in on the pre-sale. I bought into the pre-sale. And if you're wondering when they're going to release the contract and also the tokens from Pulio, or Pulo, I always pronounce it wrong. It says right here, the contract will be launched on Friday, April 29th. So you're going to get it the day before the wide launch. And they're going to complete the airdrops through Pulo. Liquidity will be added, which enables trading, buying, and selling during the time window stated above in bold. The contract address will be provided via pinned tweet and pinned Telegram message on Friday, April 29th to accompany the airdrops. If for any reason this time window is adjusted, we will announce it on both Twitter and Telegram. So I don't know if you guys out there, or even Max, if you're too familiar with Phantom, but just real quick commercial. They are basically looking to do a sort of like a Facebook meta thing. I just consider Facebook still Facebook, but they're
Right,
trying
me
to
too.
do,
Me too.
yeah, they're trying to do like basically like a social platform where people actually get paid to interact, and they'll get paid in crypto. So they're also trying to do something where it's not, it's more free speech and not really censorship. I mean, there's going to be certain things, like hate speech and certain things that are going to make sure that that doesn't go on. But for the most part, it's going to be uncensored, and you'll be able to get compensated for it in crypto. So it's kind of interesting. So it caught my attention. I did a couple videos on it, and it's a pre-sale that I got in on. So we'll have to see what happens on the launch on the 30th. Hopefully everything goes well. There's no sort of issues with launch or bots or something like that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I always thought that you were like the main guy, from what I've noticed, to cover fandom. I'm sure there's other ones and so on. It was just one of those things, in which I had to choose, right, narrow down what ones I wanted to get into. I, of course, still am going to look into this. I've been kind of on the fence about, pre-sales and so on.
Right.
As you know, the latest pre-sale I got into was Luna 1. And it was kind of like, at the time, something like that, like, well, should I do more research on Phantom, on their pre-sale, or, something like Luna 1? I have nothing against it. I just need to know more about it. So, of course, I'm going to do that, especially if I'm going to join you for tomorrow. I'll do as much research as I can. I don't want to just hop into some AMA. And,
Right.
I will say this for everybody who is watching. If I'm not comfortable enough with Phantom, I feel like I don't know enough about it, even with what I read up about it, I'll let Larry know, and I'll be like, look, man, it's not justified for me to join an AMA where, I'm not as knowledgeable about the particular project as, for instance, as he is. But nonetheless, I read every day, everything you can imagine. So give me enough time, I'll get it going. So.
Well, there's still a lot of unanswered questions. That's why I wanted to dig into it a little bit more. And they, I asked them about doing another video, and they actually approached me about doing an AMA. I said, yeah, that's great, because there's a lot of people want to know certain things. They did do pretty well with their pre-sale. Their pre-sale hard cap was at 2,000 ETH, which was a lot, but they wound up selling and meeting the hard cap, which was a little over 1,000 ETH. So they're going to launch with a market cap, around 3 million. So that's
Right.
one of the things that we're going to talk about. And, there's been some people unhappy, some people happy. I know that Bleaves covered it, and a few other good YouTubers covered it. So we're going to have to ask them some of the tough questions and see, if we can get some good, solid answers.
Yeah, and just looking at the chat again. Welcome to those who have joined the chat or have still stuck around for a little while in regards to, so I should say, just the chat, our live stream. Just reading a few comments, for instance. That I'm gonna keep it on topic of Phantom. I'll get back to your other comment, Kingsman. Kingsman mentions, he says, Phantom Telegram kicked me out when I was talking about Angora project. Lol, how can I get back in? Is there a way you can back, or I guess he's trying to say get back in after ban? Again, it's their TOS. It's whatever their TOS is, So, for instance, their terms of service. I I know one thing, a lot of projects, right, especially if it's a pre-sale project and so on, that goes against like the terms of service in regards to shilling, because it's considered shilling.
Right.
It's just like, for instance, like if I went on Zach Humphreys, I was on there one time, and I gave him a super chat, for instance, and I want him to, mention like Clearpool, and it's like he wouldn't even mention the name. It just kind of showed up in the super chat, but he wouldn't do it because he considers it shilling. And at the end of the day, you got to kind of respect that. So if their terms of service state before you get on there that that's a form of shilling, you just gotta, you gotta go with what I guess you could say the rules are. So,
right.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm sure if you reached out to them another way, I don't know if we can. Well, you can message them on Twitter and ask them. It looks like they have the mailbox feature there, the little envelope. I would suggest Kingsman maybe dropping them a note on Twitter, possibly telling them that you didn't have any ill intentions. But yeah, I would agree with what Max is saying, that you just have to be careful about shilling other projects because it's not their project. So it's just something to keep in mind.
I guess a good example would be like you went to like a seminar, right? Nowadays we have what they call webinars, right? So, but seminars still exist where you actually go to like the actual live event, and then you show up there. I guess a good example, right, would be like Amway. I never got involved in Amway, but a lot of people did. For instance, I'm just throwing out an example, and then it's like you show up there, everybody's all there, hey, gung ho for Amway and whatnot, and then you show up there promoting something that's similar to Amway, but it's not Amway, right? Well,
Right.
they're probably gonna be like, "What are you doing?" And then they're gonna be like, "There's the door." Same kind
Yeah.
of thing,
Well, yeah. So Kingsman, he's a big supporter of our channel. So there's a lot of comments in there.
Yeah, we
Another one
appreciate
was,
it, Kingsman. I mean,
yeah,
you've always been coming on here. We had 1,000 more like you. It'd be pretty awesome. So thank you so much for always supporting us, man.
we're not going to talk about it right now, but there's a chance, outside chance, we might talk about PIXUL if we have someone else join us, a special guest. But we're waiting to see on that. So
Let's go back to
yeah.
what you previous said, if you don't mind, Larry, where he says, Kingsman, that is, he says, why CVC is not pumping, even though they listed on L Bank and more centralized exchanges that are coming. Just curious. I think that's a good question. Do you want to maybe shed some light on that, on your
Sure.
thoughts about that, Larry?
Yeah, I'm actually still invested in CVC. So CVC was one that I got in on the pre-sale. And what I did was I took my initial investment in a nice profit, and I currently have a moon bag for CVC. Let me make sure this is the right one here. Yeah, this looks like it's it. So right now this market cap is about 6.3 million. Liquidity is really nice at 4.1 million. The volume is a little low now, right? 52,000. So this is another one that did one good thing. So I've listened to Keith, he's a developer, talk on some other channels. And what I really like about this project is that it came out with utility right away. They have the CVC. Besides that, oh, we had a little connections glitch there. Besides being a competitor for CoinMarketCap, what they did really well was they immediately got on exchange. They got on Bitmark. They started talking to Bitmark even before they launched the pre-sale. So, or I should say before they launched, they had the wide launch. But you can see here, it was a nice launch. It had a nice run up here. I probably sold, probably somewhere in here near the top. So that was kind of cool. And I've just been hanging on to my moon bag. I'm not really sure why it's not pumping. Now, this could be, I know there was some, controversy with the dev. They were concerned about liquidity. He's since come out and addressed it. I think that Keith seems like a solid guy. So I would give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't really know why it's not pumping. There's just so much. I mean, in my opinion, what's going on right now with a lot of the projects, even though I think this is a good one, I think there's just so many projects and there's just a limited amount of funds. There's just only so much. Whatever is invested right now, whatever it's like 1.8 trillion or something, that seems like a big number. But when you spread that money out, like a lot of it's in Bitcoin and in the top 10 and everything, and the stable coins, there's really, probably, a couple $1 billion that are in some of these small market caps collectively. And that's really not a lot of money because you have so many projects. And what you see is you see people hopping around. So, you've got people invested in Saitama, and then they take it out of Saitama and they go into Shibnobi, and they take it out of Shibnobi and they go into Terra, and they take it out of Terra and they go into CBC. It's the same money being recycled all around. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's only so much money to go around. And one of the things that, I've been saying, and a lot of others have been saying, we need more new people. We need new money to come into crypto. Usually when new money comes in, it goes in with the more established projects, whether it's, Bitcoin or Shiba Inu, whatever it is. But then it starts to trickle down to some of these new projects. So we just need a way to embrace the masses. We need to put a good step forward and not have the toxic environment that's around sometimes some of these projects. Not saying there's anything too toxic with CVC, but we need to embrace the outside world and bring those people in that are invested in stocks or mutual funds, or maybe not at all. Maybe they just have, a checking or savings account.
Yeah, boy, a half a percentage, if that, on their APR. If we just take a moment, actually, two things I want to bring up in regards to the CVC. Did they actually have any talks with the Saitama team? And if so, was there anything about them, trying to eventually get listed on SaitaMask or anything like that?
That I'm not sure of. I think that I think that they were actually talking with Cliff and Shibnobi. I thought. And I
Oh,
could be
okay.
wrong.
Dojo swap then. Right.
Yeah, I'm not an expert. I think they were trying to get on Dojo swap. Is that what they call it? Shibnobi calls it. I don't know if they did or not, but I know that Cliff was helping them with their launch. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Shibnobi that reached out, or they reached out to Shibnobi. So that's one of the things that I like to see. I like to see projects helping each other.
Right. It might just be a thing in which there just needs to be a little bit more adoption. I'm actually curious to see how many holders are currently out there. I don't know if CMC would actually list that. You might have to pull up a new page.
Let me go back to Dex Tools. So it looks
you can just do Dex Tools.
We've got 4,536 holders. So that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad considering how new the project is. I guess just a little bit more of the marketing. I think personally it's the marketing, because there was a lot of hype going into it. You did have some big influencers. I know that Zach Humphreys, he didn't really do a video on it, but when he would do his live streams, he would definitely cover it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But there was never, I guess you could say, anything official as far as big influencers doing like a set video, right? In-depth video on it. It was more like hearsay, covering a little bit. This is, what's kind of trending. Maybe if they could have a little bit more of that, they could get momentum going again in regards to it. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, there's my thumbnail, though.
Was it?
Yeah. At the end of the day, when it first was out, it was kind of trending, but it was trending in that regard. So, for instance, okay, well, but he's saying what now? But then again, he's hitting it right after the hype.
Right.
And I think that's the whole thing is there was a lot of hype that went up, and then it doesn't have the coverage. And so as a result, it needs to trend again. How do we get it to that point of trending again? Is it going to be the marketing team from CVC who has a set amount from, their tokenomics for like a marketing wallet and so on? It'd be kind of interesting to see what their new approach is going to be. Because let's face it, as of now, it's kind of like, on the back of, the back of your head as far as, okay, I remember that. That was not that long ago, but it needs to trend again, Well,
yeah, it launched I think it looks like right here, March 30th, and it seems like ages ago. It hasn't even technically been a month yet. I think what happened with this is I remember that they sold 50, or what the pre-sale was 1,500 ETH, and it really, sold out fast. So there was so much hype leading up to it. I remember Keith was jumping on different live streams and talking, and I got excited about it, watching on somebody's live stream. It could have been Awesome Austin or someone's, maybe Crypto Realist. I don't remember, but I got into it. There was so much hype. And yes, they need to continue doing some marketing because they should have a pretty substantial marketing wallet. And I think that's what happens with some of these projects. That's why I'm going to encourage Phantom to continue to market, do some strong marketing after their launch, because if you don't, sometimes projects can do what CBC did, just kind of like, I don't want to say go away, but just get quiet. Not many people talking about it anymore.
Or just little things. I mean, for instance, you see a banner ad at the top of there. I mean, I never even heard of Bazoge until I saw, like a banner ad up there. It either said, actually, I think it said something like missed Axie, and then they had like their ad, and I was like, that stood out to me because, yeah, I did miss Axie. A lot of people missed Axie.
I did, yeah.
Right. For the ones who got into it early, I mean, my God, that was like generational wealth, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So little things like that, that stands out because that kind of catches your attention. And then to have like a little kind of a cool looking banner. I mean, everybody could do a banner. Let's be honest, right? But it's the ones that grab your attention, and it grabbed my attention because, for one, I was like, if this could possibly be the next Axie, that's something I want to look into. And then for one, it was the gaming, the metaverse, the play to earn. And so, of course, I checked it out. But that's beside the point. The point is, they got to do little things like that. I'm not saying that CBC kind of fell off. I mean, we're looking at what, like 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago? How long has it really been?
Not quite 4 weeks. It just March 30th to today's the 28th of April, so it's not even been a full month. It seems like ages ago, but
it does. But
yeah,
it's not. It's just not trending. So,
well, they need to just they can come on our channel if they want to talk. Keith can come over here. They just have to just jump on more YouTube channels. They need to get the word out on Twitter and just keep everyone updated. It's not everybody can be like Shibnobi, right? Shibnobi does AMAs like every single night. So they kind of set the standard for transparency and just being out in the public eye.
And speaking of which, let's talk about Shibnobi if you don't mind. Let's get to that.
Here we are.
So Shibnobi, everybody. Let's actually just double check real quick on the chat. Okay. All right. So thank you for those who are still with us, or maybe somebody else has, joined the live stream recently. We welcome you. But yeah, Shibnobi, I've been involved with Shibnobi. I got into it like the second day after they had a CMC listing. So I think that was like December 27th, or maybe it was the 22nd. I can't remember. It was literally 2 days after each one of those dates. Decided to get into it. I think I have like 110 quadrillion tokens or something like that. There's, of course, people that have like quintillion amounts and so on. And of course, I was around for that time in which I saw, a big, huge run up. What was it, late December, early January? And they were just doing so much with the transparency. Again, like what Larry was saying, the live AMAs literally every single day. Cliff Fettner and the team literally set the standard on how to do AMAs and be active in that regard. But other little things, I mean, like the roadmap. I mean, actually, we don't have to necessarily click on it, but like, it stood out as being a project that had that Shiba Inu style theme. Again, it's incorporating like a ninja aspect to it. At the end of the day, if you ever played Sega Genesis, you ever played Shinobi. I mean, obviously that's the theme they're kind of going with. But they're wanting to do a game, right? Maybe a couple of games, if I'm not mistaken. They got the whole thing, of course, that they accomplished not that long ago with the dojo swap, having like an all-in-one swap, if you will. Some people might say that this rivals SAITAMA, what they got going on, but in reality, it's a lot different, in my opinion. But it's just cool to see consistently more and more small cap token projects get onboarded over to Dojo Swap. So that's just another really cool catalyst to see in regards to Shibnobi. And there's just the outline of all the the decentralized exchanges. As you can see right here, phase 3. I mean, I think that's going to be the biggest catalyst when that happens, to get on crypto.com. I mean, Binance is huge, obviously. I mean, Saitama wants to obviously get on that and so on. But yeah, crypto.com and Binance, especially crypto.com, that's going to be like the biggest cap. Once that happens, I think they might have, Larry, their Shiba Inu moment in which you might get listed on there, right? The volume has to happen, build up the holders, and then you might see like kind of like Shiba Inu. Because think about this, right? This is really something to think about, at least in my eyes. And I get it, the two are totally different. But Shiba Inu got on to crypto.com, I want to say, I don't know if it was maybe April or May of 2021. And right after like all-time highs at that time, okay? And then you had a period of like, I guess you could say trading sideways, consolidation. And literally that happened from May all the way up to October, right? It would dip down, but then it would retrace. And it was kind of like boring times. It was just, I know your pop was getting upset with it and so on. He's just like, hang in there, guys, stay the course and so on. And everybody stayed the course, but there was still what? More and more people buying. If Shibnobi, I should say if, it looks like a matter of when they get on there, there's going to be, you cannot expect this thing to just go to the moon as soon as it gets released on a centralized exchange. And I think that's so crucial for people to understand that. Just because you get on a big centralized exchange doesn't mean that you're going to see instant huge spikes in price action. It might happen for like a little bit of a day. It might be a nice little run up, but it won't be consistent, just amazing parabolic all-time highs. I think personally, just as my own humble opinion, my own view, they get on crypto.com, then there's going to be that consolidation period, however long that is. But other factors, of course, could happen. I mean, and especially if we see Bitcoin getting close to all-time high, especially if Bitcoin goes above 50,000, Ethereum and so on. Granted, those things, of course, will help. But again, the consolidation period, and then it becomes what? A case of supply and demand, because it's just going to be like a pressure cooker, right? Or like a kettle ready to burst. Right. And then you will see these crazy, all-time highs again. That's just the way I feel about it personally. And I love to see the particular roadmap in it. And then, of course, they're basically, aren't they considered fully doxed, if I'm not mistaken?
Say that again about being fully doxed?
Isn't Shibnobi fully doxed? I'm pretty sure they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, you see their face. It's just a really, really good community-driven project. Probably one of the best ones out there. And then what I was going to state also, if Larry can pull up their CMC, actually, so what you guys see here, this may seem like, okay, well, that's decent. For me, I don't know if you can see where, do you have Shibnobi added to your watch list by any chance? Or do you have a watch list, Larry?
No, I don't have my watch list set up too well.
That's all right. I have mine set up. So I'll just go ahead and tell you guys. So, for instance, let me pull up my watch list.
I think I need to look at it on Dex Tools, because I don't think it's giving me accurate information on coin market cap as far as the market cap is concerned. Let me just pull it up here.
Well, I'll tell you guys this much. Currently speaking on CMC, I'm looking at myself. Mm-hmm. All right. So for the 24-hour chart, Shibnobi is up about roughly 17 to 18%. But for the 7-day chart, right, there hasn't been no V2 migration. There's nothing of that. So you can't use that excuse. If you look at the 7-day chart for Shibnobi, the darn thing is up 423%. And that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to cover it today, because they're just doing very, very well in such a volatile time.
Yeah, the chart is quite interesting to me. I'm not an expert. I'm not a chartist, but it almost seems like there's some sort of bot activity going on with buys and sells, because it's very choppy. Do you know what I mean? Right. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's just interesting to see the way this chart is.
Yeah.
Yep. On the 7-day chart.
Right.
But yeah, so as far as market cap, I just wanted to pull on Dex Tools. The market cap right now, and this doesn't seem, well, I guess it is. It's all the way down to, unfortunately, 75 million. So it was up over a billion before, right? Shibnobi was doing well. The volume is,
Right.
you know,
They were
kind
at
of
one
down
point.
305,000. I'll just say real quick, you know, the one thing, unfortunately, it looks like it killed the momentum, but, you know, they've obviously been getting it back. But what hurt them was their changing of the contract, and they were trying to do something with the reflections, and they wound up going to the burn wallet. So people lost some tokens and stuff like that. But I think they have, I'm not an expert with Shinobi right now because I haven't been paying too close of attention, but I know they have, I think, a way of claiming those missing tokens. Have you heard anything about that, or you're not that familiar with it?
I am familiar with it. I did attend a few of the live AMAs, and that was something that was brought up, especially the day that it happened, because people were like, "Hey, what's going on?" I mean,
Right.
my balance is less, so it should be more because of the reflections. And then Cliff and the team was like, "Man, this is bizarre. We actually don't know. Look into it." And then there was another announcement, literally like the next day, stating that this was due to the the new burn mechanism, like you mentioned.
Right.
So whether people want to agree with that or not, right? You're right. People, there's a certain degree of people who are going to be like, "Yeah, man, maybe I'm going to sell." It'd be interesting to see how many people sold, right? If we were going to dig deeper into it, but yeah, how many people decided to sell during that time period. But I guess we could just basically go to like Dex Tools, bring up the time period, or um, would it be Etherscan IO,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
We'd have to dig into that a little more, probably offline, but
yeah,
looks like they're doing better. Like you said, in the last 24 hours, in the last 7 days, it's recovered. I would like to, I mean, I guess from here, 10x is not out of the question because that's 750,000 market cap. So I think once the bull run happens again, I think you'll see it start to push, possibly close to all-time high again, get back up to over a billion in market cap. They definitely have a lot of different catalysts going on, not just the chance to get on crypto.com, but to me, they can be sort of a hub for some of these community-based tokens, sort of like what Saitama is doing with SAITAMA. It's just that Saitama needs to get their liquidity stuff together. But
right.
yeah, I mean, it's a solid project mainly because of the devs being out there. And I don't know if you know this or not. I'll go back to their website, but this guy right here just went off. This guy right here, Teddy Ganja, he's
Right. Yeah.
actually, yeah, he's actually a YouTuber, and he got approached by Shibnobi. Now he's part of the team, so he went with them to Dubai and everything. So that's kind of an interesting point. He's a pretty funny guy. The name of his channel is My Crypto Future.
So
So
he's a CTO, so chief something
technology
officer,
officer, chief
technology
technology officer.
officer.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. For me, guys, I mean, Shinobi is a long-term play. You know, I realize there's going to be some people who are just going to be in it, like I guess you could say, like the paper handers and so on, in which as soon as it goes back to like all-time highs, you're going to make like a thousand or more, depending on your position, right? I'm not going to say
Right.
like I don't know your position, obviously, or then they're going to be out of it. But they also got to keep in mind, Shibnobi, there is I believe, a pretty significant tax for people who do dump their position, and that's kind of like where I'm at. My thing is, again, the long term hold for this. I realistically still see Shibnobi in multi.
It looks like we have temporarily lost Max. His connection kind of rugged right there. So, guys, in case you just joined us, we'll have Max back shortly. I'm just going to go ahead and check over here at my Twitter account and see what's going on. I think someone has sent me a message. Let's see who that is. But hopefully we'll get Max back on. Okay, hey, I got word back. They don't want me to go live. Okay. All right. That was just somebody I heard from PIXUL. Okay. Let's see if we got Max back on here, guys. And I apologize for the connection issue. We do have Max back. Max is back. His connection got rugged probably because I've had some internet problems, Max. I was going to tell you, I was actually on the phone today with Spectrum, if you can hear me, and they actually were down today around about 3 hours from like 1 to 4 my time. There's something going on down the
It's
road
all right.
from
You
me.
know, yeah, those things happen. You know,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So I don't know what's going on because it was supposed to be fixed about 5 hours ago, but there might be some kind of a weak signal. Maybe they need to do some more repairs. It's not in my individual house. It's just like a mile away from where I live.
but
But
right, that
yeah,
affects all the people that are part of that internet service provider. So
yep, it affects everybody. So we were just jumped over to the Twitter page for Shibnobi, and it looks like there's something. There's an important notice here. 4 hours ago, they say for those who are experiencing issues with Shibnobi on Bitmark and Hotbit, Bitmark is implementing a new system updates to allow full Shinja tokenomics. Hotbit, also temporarily unavailable to system maintenance, should be resolved in 1 to 2 days. So that was what I was saying, I think, yesterday or the night before with these clever and advanced type of tokenomics. They are really cool, but sometimes they give fits to centralized exchanges, and it's a double-edged sword. You wonder, one of two things is going to happen. Either the centralized exchanges are going to start to change their infrastructure to be able to handle these advanced tokenomics, or you're going to see new tokens come out that maybe don't have these fancy tokenomics. I don't really know. I think the way that things are going is they like to have these taxes so that they can have these marketing wallets. I think that it's going to be the first thing I mentioned. I think the centralized exchanges are going to start to catch up to these advanced tokenomics. What do you think is going to happen? Which way is it going to go?
you know, to be honest, I think it just depends. I mean, you think with what you just said that would be the case, um, but at the same time, I mean, each platform kind of like has their own thing going on. It's really hard to say uh, in that regard. Will you agree?
Yeah, it is. It is kind of hard to say because everybody is different. And one of the things I've heard is, the zeros, the number of zeros was the other thing. But, I know that they're making exceptions, like Bitmart is one of them, but apparently they're having probably some technical issues. But, it's going to be interesting to see. I think that the centralized exchanges are going to start to adapt to these more sophisticated contracts, if you will.
Yeah, and it'd be nice, of course, to see that. I remember, even though CMC is not an exchange; it's more of a listing. Um, but I remember for a while, it's just like in order to read, I guess you could say, certain token and coin projects, is like there was a period of time if a particular token had like 0.15 zeros when it was listed at the very top of the page, you couldn't even read it. It was just like, what is this? Like a
Yeah.
greater sign, such and such. And then I had to show a few people, like, look, you guys can actually still read it. You have to go further down on the page, and it'll actually show all of those zeros lined up. But it's just little things. As far as what you're saying with the exchanges itself, I think they'll get that sorted out because at the end of the day, I mean, it's not an issue of it not being in their code or where they could program to show properly. Um, it's just kind of like what you mentioned with the, what did you say with the tokenomics and so on? Just getting that sorted out.
Yeah, they just have to sort it out. I was just going to jump over while you were talking to. I'm trying to find the website for Coin ViewCap. This is more of their token website. So let me just see. I wanted to see how they're handling some of these zeros as opposed to Coin Market Cap. Let me just bear with me for 1 second here and see if I can
It's okay.
find that here. So I got a message earlier. We're not going to talk about PIXUL tonight. I want to just gather a little more information, but let me see here. Maybe it's the official one, the Telegram. Oh, here we go. Live charts, coinviewcap.com. So maybe CoinViewCap will be the one that will be able to handle the zeros a little bit better. Maybe not now, but eventually.
Right.
We can go and look at, let's look up Shibnobi here. Oops, I kind of fat fingered that. Shibnobi Shinja. See how they have it listed here. So where am I seeing the price? Okay, yeah, they've got like the same issue. You really can't see the price. You just see a bunch of zeros. So
Okay.
yeah, they just have to get better with being able to handle this. Now, the coin market cap that we didn't talk much about, and I'm sure you're aware of it, with Saitama and some of these other projects, they don't get them in the top 100. Like when Saitama was in the top 100, that was a big reason that a lot of people were talking to CoinView Cap and saying, look, you know, coin market cap is not justifying, for example, Saitama's and a few other projects. They're not showing them in the top 100 when they should be. I remember when Saitama was around number 64 or 65 out of 100, and coin market cap wasn't showing them. For a while, Crypto Bubbles was, which was kind of cool, and they
Right.
started doing
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Right. They didn't list the proper market cap, and it just sucks with that because I mean, if you remember, there was that whole thing with Saitama, in which they had a little notice at the very top. It was in pink, and then the Saitama team decided to, I guess, take legal matters against them, and it's like ever since that happened with that whole thing, it's like somebody, again, we don't know who, has made it in which they're like, look, Saitama is never going to have, be listed properly in the top 100. And then, of course, the excuse that they have is on the far left side of the page, you're going to have a little caution symbol, and it's going to say it's an unverified, market cap that
Right.
the CMC team has not verified. And as long as that keeps going on and they don't verify, it's never going to be listed there properly. And it sucks so bad because like Zach Humphreys, Austin Hilton has mentioned in the past, there's a certain amount of people, right? It might be a significant amount of people. I don't know. But there's a certain amount who will only base their trading off of the top 100 of CMC. And if Saitama can't be listed properly there, right? Where they like, I don't know, 2,400, 3,000, something like that.
Right.
That definitely affects it. Even when Saitama, is at what they're at right now on the listing, if it was verified, they would significantly at least go up to what, like maybe 400, I don't know, something like that. A lot more better than 3,000 something. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's some people, it's just a matter of exposure in a lot of ways, because some people like to invest in the top 100, and if Saitama was in there, then it could have gotten some more exposure because people would be like, oh, what's this number 65? And just like ApeCoin,
Right.
being number 22, whatever they were when they launched in a couple days, is in the top 100. That's getting them more exposure, where people that are, invested in BNB, or, they have their money in Tether, they can look at that and say, hey, what's this project? What's Saitama? They can get more exposure. So while we're talking about Saitama, we'll do a quick little commercial for Saitama. So Saitama, this is their sneak peek at SAITAMA Pro. I guess we'll just play this video real quick, Max.
Sure, no problem.
In case anybody is watching that is invested in Saitama. It's a little bit fuzzy, but so now they're going to have Face ID. That's the change, I believe.
American Classic Crypto recently covered this.
Did he? Okay, good.
Which is cool.
Yeah, I like Classic Crypto. I had
I like him
before.
too.
Yeah,
he's a nice kid.
Yep, he's a hard
very
worker.
very ambitious.
He was one that got in early on. Well, I don't know how early he got in, but he was a big into Axie Infinity.
Yeah, I saw that a few times. He mentioned that.
So here's the other thing about Saitama here. I'll just read what they said here. They posted this 3 hours ago. Get ready, Wolfpack. May the 20th is redemption time. Eagle FC number 47, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join the live event for free. So I guess there's I don't know too much about this. It looks like it's an MMA type of event. So right here, free on FLX. So I don't know if Saitama is sponsoring this at some degree. I'd have to look more into it.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, so something different.
Yeah.
So of course they had the different tokens that are on SAITAMA. They have them listed. I talked about that the other day, I think, on one of my videos. Have you ever heard? That's kind of interesting. Have you ever heard of? Well, there's like the ones I haven't heard of are Shuna, Inuverse, but there was one more I was talking about the other day, and now I don't even see it on here. Oh, it's not on here anymore. It was like Ridge or something. They had like a dog as a logo, and I had never heard of that. I guess they took it off. Maybe it didn't pan out for them. But have you heard of Shuna Inuverse?
No, it's just the only thing that kind of stands out is it looks like a, like a 1940s World War II, like a, like a pinup girl or
a pinup girl. Yeah. Yep. Never heard of that one.
Or you got a B-17 pilot, right, for the Flying Fortress is gonna put his sweetheart on the side of his plane or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. How about you still holding the Kishimoto Inu? Do you have that?
No, I didn't get into Kishimoto. The ones that you see right there, I'm into Saitama. I'm into Shiro. The main reason I got into Shiro is, I saw I believe I saw an AMA with one of the devs. I believe it was with Your Pop, if I'm not mistaken. And before that, I was like, I don't want to get into it. And then, he shared what he shared. And I was like, all right, well, I'll get into this maybe like $100 worth or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm not too thrilled on it, to be honest. That's not me.
Yeah, I got into it. I got into it pretty early, actually. It was a disappointment. I think I threw like $500 into it, and I sold off. I don't even know, maybe like a month ago. I swapped it for something. I don't even remember what I swapped it for, and I was just kind of getting impatient with the project, and I decided just to get rid of it. I never got into Sata Realty. I think I got into Impact XP, but I sold that off. I still have Kishimoto Inu, and that's kind of like the close cousin of Mononoke Inu, perhaps.
Actually, I'll give Kishimoto a little bit of credit. They did have that one thing in which, for all of those people who got rugged on Suzuki, I hate to say it, I'm one of the victims.
Oh, did you? Were you in Suzuki? Yes, that one there, whatever.
I got freaking rugged on that thing.
Oh man, I didn't get in that one, luckily.
Yeah, I definitely got rugged on that one. I didn't throw in a ton of money into it, but I think I lost maybe a couple $100 or maybe $300 or something like that. But
yeah,
that was the worst rug that I personally experienced. There's another rug. God, I've been involved in 2 rugs. I never promoted them. I should have stated that I did make a video about Galaxy Snake. That one launched, seemed very promising, and then boom, like literally instantly rugged. That one was on the Binance Smart Chain, and of course I took my video off of my channel because I'm not gonna leave a video. It got a lot of views and so on. It's like still, I don't want nobody to see this garbage.
Yeah.
So,
just looking here, it looks like Classy Crypto posted and Kishimoto retweeted that Kishimoto Inu has this, I guess, Bored Ape Dojo collection. I guess it looks like it's an NFT collection with utility. So maybe they're going to start to do something. I don't know. It's hard to tell. There's, like I said, we're just flooded with so many of these meme projects, community-based tokens that, things could be a lot different if there was half or maybe even a quarter of the projects, because then, I bet you projects would have done better because there would just be more money to go in less projects. Right now, you just have everything so thinly spread out that I think that really hurts a lot of projects. There could be some good projects. Wolverine was another one that I was in, and I talked about on my channel.
Yeah, I'm still into that one. I just don't hold like a huge bag. I mean, I guess you say on paper it appears that way with all the tokens I have, but as far as the actual dollar value, I don't know. I think mine's only worth like $5 or something like that. Not that much.
Yeah, not too much. I'm trying to see here. So I don't know if you saw that on my screen or not. Did you see? Can you see this one here, or maybe I'll just move it over here?
Yeah, I see it. I mean, it's just at the top of your page. You're talking about where it shows It's going FegX, that one right there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just pulling up a note that I got on Telegram, which I put over on the other screen here. Let me see if I can. I just wanted to give you guys an update on Robo Inu. I went in and just was chatting with them before the live stream. And I think, Max, you're invested in this one. It's not one that I'm invested in yet, but the community seems really nice. And V seems nice, the developer. And I was chatting with her because I just jumped in to say hello. And they're telling me about the rebranding. Remember, we had that guy a couple nights ago, or maybe it was, a couple nights ago. He was talking about the rebrand. Big Zeke, I think it was. And
yes, that's right.
yeah, so she was just telling me, the developer was saying that the rebranding, she said the logo will be changed and the entire outlay of Robo's website and banner, things as such, will be changed based on fintech and community centric. And she said the dog becomes the mascot. I said, will the name stay the same? She says, yes, it'll be Robo Inu Finance. They're not getting rid of the Robo. However, the corporation is going to be Robo Global Investment. Everything is under that brand, the global, the Robo Global Investment brand. So I just
All
thought
right.
you might
So
wanted to hear that. Yeah.
yeah, thanks. That's actually good info. My attitude is, I mean, that's not too big of a shock, I guess you could say too. As long as people still recognize that it's still the same brand.
Right. They didn't want to get rid of the Inu, so I think that's kind of cool. So yeah, Robo Inu Finance official. I was going to say, I was thinking too that it looks like, a lot of us get sick of the Inu tokens because there's just so many of them. They put,
Right.
obviously Inu means dog, right? And I think in Japan, Japanese, it means dog, but there's, Inu next to things that are not even dogs. But of all the Inu coins or the Inu tokens, the two new ones that stand out to me that look like they're headed somewhere good is Volt Inu, and it looks like, now that I'm learning more about Robo Inu, those two seem to be the new Inus that probably have a future.
Yeah, you would hope so. I mean, like I myself, I'm into Volt. I hold about like $100 worth, and then I did that V2 migration. It's just hopefully I can do something, do with something with it, or get it fixed. It's just that migration basically shows that I'm a multi-billionaire. And of course, I'm not.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, even if I didn't do the migration, I mean, it is a pretty good project. Obviously, I got into it because I believe in it. I love the marketing behind it. I mean, if you're on Twitter, even if you're not into Volt, right? It's like they're killing it with the marketing. Like
Yeah, they really are crushing it.
yeah.
I know one of the early influencers, if not the first, was Bleaves. And
Right.
I just, I missed the boat on Volt. I really wish that I got in early. I did get in afterwards. I have some dust left in version 1. So, yeah, I need to pay closer attention to that one. And also this one here, Robo,
Okay.
for sure. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about, or do you want to start to wrap things up?
Um, Actually, that's about it. I mean, the main things that we were covering tonight, of course, guys, is Singularity, ApeCoin, and Shibnobi for
Yep.
tonight's live stream. So we do appreciate you guys, of course, joining us tonight. Um, we'll have to discuss, Larry and I, if we will keep this at 8 Eastern. We might just go ahead and go back to 9 Eastern. It just depends. But nonetheless, we'll have an announcement on Twitter or his channel or both. One coming from me, one coming from him, or whatever. And we'll definitely let you guys know what we decide to do in regards to that, and then what we will decide to do in regards to the weekends and so on. I remember at the very beginning of today's live stream, Larry was mentioning certain times on the weekend, and hopefully we can still commit to that. So be on the lookout for Larry tomorrow morning. Well, depending on where you're at, right?
Right.
In regards to
1
his
p.m.
AMA.
Eastern. Yeah, the AMA 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Looks like it'll happen then for Phantom.
Right. So, definitely be on the lookout for that. I may possibly be there. I don't know yet. But nonetheless, he will be. And that would be a great AMA for you to show up to learn more about what's going on from the fandom team in regards to that. And I'm sure it's going to be a great AMA.
Great. Well, thank you. And once again, I want to thank everyone for watching, and a special thanks to my guy here, Max. As always, it's fun to talk with you, whether we're talking on stream or offline. And we look forward to this live stream growing, guys. We're going to be tinkering with the time a little bit, still trying to figure out what's going to get us the most views. And we look forward to the next live stream. Guys, be safe out there, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
All right, over and out, guys. Thanks
Take
for having
care.
me again, Larry.
Thank you.